Hey guys, Thomas Asulu Jr. here, aka Mustached, time with my review of Maze Runner: The Scorch Trial. Uh, Not too long ago, I decided to check back and look at the first Maze Runner to see what I was getting myself into because I didn't know what the series was, so I went into it. Then I watched Scorch Trials, and I thought this movie was pretty darn good. So Thomas and his crew, and the girl Teresa and the other kids, whatever their names are, Mino I think was one of them, and some of the other characters I don't remember their names because they didn't say them as much, but they are brought to this facility where it's all safe, and then it turns out that after they see this other kid's been there for a really long time. He shows them that there's like this weird testing stuff going on, and then Thomas discovers that they're going to soon be testing on them or something along the lines. So they grab their fellow people, they get out of the wicked base or whatever it's called, and then they run out into the desert, into the city to try to find this group called the Right Wing, which is supposedly have the safe haven, and they run into things like these zombie-like creatures, and if they get bit, which one of them does, they start to turn into one of them. These zombie creatures can like run and stuff, and it, you know, they do this whole thing where they're in a building. And at that point, Thomas has ended up with this other girl that they meet when they run away, named Brenda, and they're in this little area where they're trying to get away, where they're trying to find the safe haven, and then they end up eventually heading toward it. Uh, and I gotta say that this movie does have a little bit of convenience as they are being sniped at when they are in these like cars or whatever, and then these chicks knew one of the kid that was with them, so they were let into this area, and then it ends up that Teresa, sorry, just having trouble remembering the names, but Teresa is with them. She gives out their location somehow to Wicked. I don't know how. It's not really explained. I guess she had like a radio or something. I don't know. And then they attack the place. They grab as many of them as possible. Thomas threatens to like blow them up or whatever, and then they grab one of the guys, Mino, and then they're off. And Thomas says he's gonna finish them off once and for all, even though they're after the cure. Yada yada yada. Yada yada. But anyways, I really enjoyed the movie. There are a few conveniences here, and you know, it doesn't really delve too much deeper into the characters as much. Thomas is pretty much the same character he was last time, always constantly asking these questions, uh, and the others are sort of just kind of backup. I mean, Mino is the only other kind of character that stood out a little bit, but then there's Teresa, who betrayed them for the wicked people. Uh, and Brenda, her character is like, oh, I'll help, whatever, I love you, I think. Uh, so yeah, I think this movie does have some good points. It does suffer a little bit, and I did notice that, with the issues that come up with these kinds of movies, that when you have so many characters running around, how and when you decide to have these moments where you're actually developing the characters does become hindered when you're trying to focus on the action and the adventure and so on and so forth, and this whole sort of like, is Wicked good or bad or whatever, is this other group they're running into good or bad, all these questions popping up, and Tom's is asking all of them. So it is a good movie. It does leave a lot unanswered. So that is for the third movie, I suppose. But it does kind of remind me of the first movie where there was all these guys in the maze, and there were just as many questions as there were answers. So I didn't feel like they fulfilled much of the answers, except how the virus works or the cure works. Things like that sort of got answered here, somewhat, I feel. So with that being said, I'm gonna score this a 7 out of 10. I still enjoyed this movie, uh, but there are a few things that just I don't want to grade it higher because it is a good movie, but I don't feel like there are parts missing here that should have been in this 2 hour movie. Definitely, that is a lot of time to cover your ground, and there's just constant running and betrayals and stuff like that happening. So it is what it is. So it's a definitely check out at least once and then wait for the next movie whenever that's coming out. So with that being said, this has been Thomas Jr., aka Mustache Tom, and I'll see you guys next time.